See, I get attacked for having a beard a lot, man. Like some people use the word hipsters. They're saying, what sucks is that people do it because they're hip. Kind of hate on the fact that I've been doing it before it was hip. I've been kind of out here getting discriminated on heavy. And here's the thing: I have no tie with Muslim. I have no affiliation with that, none whatsoever. I don't like that at all. I see it as a deception, and they're using it as a political battering ram in my world right now. So look, very much against it. But I'm also very much against the false nationalism post 9/11 stereotypes that they've used to brainwash the public into thinking that a stereotype, someone has a beard, oh, they must be a terrorist. So in a way, back in the day, there was a time when they were making everyone make these real tight clothing because it was saving materials, because that was the mindset of the time. And these dudes started making these zoot suits where they wore these big oversized clothes, and it was kind of like a way to wear you're kind of like, you're against the system. You know what I'm saying? In a way, you can wear it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not against necessarily. You're just making a statement by the way you carry yourself. And I'm same thing here. You know what I'm saying? In a way, this is my zoot suit. And it's not hip. I'm not a hippie. I'm not a hippie at all. I'm not against the hippie people, but I'm not a hippie. You know what I'm saying at all. And another thing I have noticed from growing a beard is that you do kind of get this extra intuition, like a weird extra sense when you got your hair long. You know what I'm saying? It's like it picks up. Just for instance, listen, when you're standing outside, the wind catches it and moves it, so it jiggles. You know what I'm saying? And it inflames your sensors on your face, for instance. You know what I'm saying? And it also is kind of warm. Don't look that great, and I understand why it looks kind of like, look, I kind of look like a dang alley cat. You know what I'm saying? When I come walking up, so it's kind of intimidating. But I don't mean that. I'm not trying to do that for that reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's totally different from what people's false perception and stereotype is about it. If you look at the JSOC, Joint Operation Command, over there in the Middle East, these are big, swole ass white dudes, and they all got big ass beards. So obviously these dudes are tapping into the same kind of fucking, you know what I'm saying, energy. Because that's really what it, long hair does give you an extra sensory organ in a way. Because think about it, you grow an organ, your hair is kind of like an organ, you can think of it that way, and it's growing outside of you, out of your face. The more hair, the bigger that organ is that you're carrying around. You know what I'm saying? And see, here's another thing. One of the reasons the Indians had to keep their hair long too back in the day, over time, they would take the stick and wrap it in their hair, and then they would pull out a chunk of their hair, and they would keep working their way around. That's why you see some Indians they were bald around here, and they just had stuff on the top. Sometimes they were all bald because what them dudes did, they went through a ritual sacrifice. It's like when you shear the sheep, you grow out this, then you shear the sheep, and then they take that string and they use it to make, to bind clothing together, to make tents, for other purposes. It becomes rope. You know what I'm saying? So the human is a sheep, literally just like the sheep in a way, but the human himself willingly sacrifices his long hair. You know what I'm saying? So, even that is tradition. And I didn't realize how that was important, how a key indicator that is too. The Nazarites had a lot of custom with cutting off hair, growing hair. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you start your purification process, you cut off all the hair, and then you grow it out from when you started your pure ritual. Like, I've been a Nazarite this long. Your hair will be all long. You've been keeping. It's kind of like they say they can see how much drugs you do through your hair, right? So in a way, there's something to that. Like, if your hair keeps a record of your conduct over the time where you had the hair. So you shear off this hair when I was out here just doing whatever, and I'm starting fresh and clean, and then, or, you know what I'm saying? And that's another way you can tell when a Nazarite came off of his custom or his his period of separation, because he'll trim up and get looking normal like everyone else. But during his time, really they don't anoint themselves normally. You know what I'm saying? They afflict themselves on purpose for a while to shed off the cares of the world. You know what I mean? And it's like, I understand this, but society doesn't like that. Who has 7 days to fast and stay away from people and cry and starve yourself? You know what I'm saying? Basically. And they don't let you do that anymore. You could go out in the woods and brave the elements. You know what I'm saying? But then people, even then, if you have a tent out in the woods too long, they might send a team of police in there to make you get back on the grid and start paying rent. You know what I'm saying? So, and everyone's got to keep working. They don't allow the custom anymore. And just by me catching so much flack because of my beard goes to show you why you can't keep the custom like normally anymore. You can't openly do it. And that is once again, that's, and people suffer for it. You know what I'm saying? Because if they were aware of this stuff, we'd have some people who would have a lot more self-control, and we need those people for examples. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who, it's like, look, everyone's probably thinking, man, who can do that? I couldn't do that. My life would fall apart. My bills wouldn't get paid. And that's the reason why we're kept from the power of keeping that spiritual garment, like really keeping it. I mean, like I said, I don't even understand it all the way at this point. I just am been made aware that there's something to it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason why they shave everyone all the time, why society does that, because it keeps us very carnal and very vain and very attached to this physical. It keeps us away from faith and keeps us focused on sight. Oh, you don't have a haircut. My sight tells me that you must be a sinner. So I'm not going to give you no ear. And I'm going to actually lift my nose up as I walk away. I mean, that is how they have presented to you that you are your own God. You can just look at someone and their heart by looking at them. You are God because you can see inside of a man's heart, right? And you know everything about him just by looking at him. By his physical appearance, you can tell everything that's in that man's heart, can't you? Can't you? So, no, I mean, I was being very sarcastic there. I don't want people to take that the wrong way and then run with it. That was total sarcasm there. No, you're not. You can't. I know you can't. Because if anyone could do that, I believe I'd probably be able to do it. And you know what I'm saying? But no, I just don't think that's not the way life works, man, where you can just look at something and tell by observation exactly what it is. You always have to do deeper inquiry. And then even some more inquiry. Because it's like, all right, if you are this way, then why are you that way? And then you can look and see that it's not, if a person's wrong, it's not always solely from them. You can see they learned it from someone else. And that's part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? When some people's behavior was external, but it's been internalized by them. So now they live it. It comes out of them. But it wasn't always there. You just don't realize it's been implanted there, like, over time, man. It's like there's conditioning, weathering that, it's like there's different levels of weathering conditioning. Like, you got your parents, but then you got school, then you got other organizations, then you go out in public and everyone's been indoctrinated the same way. So now when you go to work, they use the conditioning you had growing up against you there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a weird, and then it steps up. Now the politicians take over where your bosses and then presidents and other people they're the ones up above them, and everyone off this, in a way, it's fiat conditioning authority. That it's like they got you one way or another. You know what I'm saying? Where they will turn the lively stones back into bricks. You know what I'm saying?